Who's talking?
Can you start over?
Oh, okay. Okay. The recording has started. Okay. Good evening. The time is now 7:06. Welcome to the June 3rd, 2024 Prince George's County Board of Education Special Board Meeting. We're having this special meeting for the purpose of discussing the Blueprint Phase 2 Memorandum of Understanding. Ms. Barton, please call the roll.
Good evening, everyone. Mrs. Adams Stafford,
Present.
Ms. Boozer Strother,
Present.
Mr. Briggs,
Present.
Dr. Harris, Mr. Jackson, Mrs. Cecilia Frazier,
Present.
Dr. Juanita Miller, Dr. Zipporah Miller,
Present.
Mr. Murray, Mrs. Rout, Ms. Walker,
Present.
Ms. Rivera Forbes,
Present.
Mrs. Mickens Murray.
Present. With 8 board members present, we have a quorum. At this time, we will have the board members, Dr. Zipporah Miller. Will you please lead us in the board prayer and pledge of allegiance?
Board prayer. O God, we pray to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance. Steer us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding. Amen.
Amen.
The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. At this time, we'll have the motion to approve the June 3rd, 2024 Prince George's County Board of Education Special Meeting Agenda as amended. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Miss Mia, please call the roll. Martin. Ms.
Mrs.
Barton.
Adams Stafford,
Aye.
Ms. Boozer Strother,
Aye.
Mr. Briggs,
Aye.
Mrs. Cecilia Frazier,
Aye.
Dr. Z Miller,
Aye.
Ms. Walker,
Aye.
Ms. Rivera Forbes,
Aye.
Mrs. Mickens Murray.
Aye. With 8 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, the June 3rd, 2024 Prince George's County Board of Education Special Meeting Agenda is adopted. At this time, we will have a discussion per the request of the administration. This item has been moved from a consent agenda requiring board action to a discussion item. No action will be taken on this item because the MOU has not been finalized. The chair recognizes Superintendent House and his staff to present the Blueprint Schools Phase 2 Memorandum of Understanding as a discussion item.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, board members and guests. As Board Chair Mickens Murray indicated, this evening we will be providing information on the MOU. So at this time, I'd like to invite Jason Washington, our Associate Superintendent of Supporting Services, to the Zoom to go over this information. Mr. Washington.
Thank you, Superintendent House and Board of Education. Appreciate the opportunity to come together. We wanted to take this opportunity while the MOU is not final to walk the board through the memorandum of understanding that you have, identify the timing and the process and the open outstanding issues so that everyone is well aware of what's happening and the plan going forward to get this finalized. As you've seen in the MOU, this is set up and structured as a funding and mechanism document. The document is meant to really reflect the duties, responsibilities of the four parties. The four parties to the MOU, which is required by the statute to receive state money. Maryland Stadium Authority, the Interagency Commission on School Construction, Prince George's County, and Prince George's County Public Schools. And so to step back for a minute, how we ended up here with it not finished really is a product of receiving additional money from the legislature and the change of who's making the payment that was finalized in this previous session. This required us to go back in to the MOU and to make some cleanup changes. But I want to make sure I draw everybody's attention to really Article 4 is really the basis of our discussion point, where things lie right now and what needs to be resolved. Article 4 lays out really the payment mechanism and the funding mechanism. What has transpired, just so everybody is clear, is that for probably 8 months now, PGCPS has been working under the expectation that there was going to be one disbursement from MSA into the IAC Run Fund. And you can see that date, I think it's identified in 4.4.2 that lays out specifically the timeline, and where it says November 1st is we were notified less than roughly a month ago that date is not accurate by MSA. In fact, MSA will receive the money for the Blueprint Phase 2 schools in 2 tranches, once in the fall and once in the spring. So that's one change that will be reflected in the final MOU that's not here now. We are confirming that date. We do not know that date for sure, and that's an open issue that we have with Maryland Stadium Authority. They are getting that answer from the Department of Management and Budget, or Budget and Management, and we will, and once that's done, that will be a change to 4.42. The amount doesn't change. The intent doesn't change. It is literally those dates. Those dates are crucial because we then put them into the funds model that we have to determine the affordability and roughly the funds flow for the next 30 years. And so that will not impact the deal in any way. But this is belts and suspenders and what the developer needs to show. So let me take a step back. This MOU is basically a promissory note for the developer to go get financing. It states that we have money. The government is committed to these funds. This is what they need to go out to say that they have the revenue or the availability payments necessary for the financing. And so this is all the MOU really provides for the developer side. For us, as you will see in some other articles later on, it dictates the reporting requirements that we have, the governance requirements that we have, et cetera. But that's that in a nutshell, that's the MOU. And so that first 4.42, that is the open item that exists with the state right now, is those specific disbursements. They will be broken up into 13.5 million each. We just need to know if it's November or December, April or May. Once those are plugged in, then 4.42 is done. The other issue then becomes 4.5.1, when we get the money from the IAC. So right now, there's one disbursement from the fund to PGCPS to make our obligations. Since IAC is getting their money in too, they're going to have to track this language in 4.1, 4.5.1. And so these are the two open issues why we have not finalized this agreement. There's no disagreement, there's no misunderstanding, there's no fighting on the amounts or anything of that sort. These are the two pivotal provisions that need to be revised, not by PGCPS. This is literally direction that we're waiting for from Maryland Stadium Authority, who is waiting to get this guidance from the Department of Budget and Management and Budget. And so that is really, when we were talking about open issues, this is it. And when we were saying that it's not tied to anything related to PGCPS on the MOU, this is what we're referring to. We can really, the rest of the MOU really lays out just reporting requirements that PGCPS has under this agreement, and it requires us each year to provide accounting of all funds used, and crucially, it sets forth that any money that we receive from the state has to only be used for satisfaction of obligations to the developer. So we can't use this money to pay for consultants. We can't use this money to do anything other than satisfy the obligations through the phase 2 obligation. A couple of questions that have come up before. Why can't we move ahead and just sign it, except it's not final? It's not final, and I'm looking at General Counsel, who's going to tell us we are not authorized to move until it is final. So that is that. And so will it be final by next Thursday? We hope so. We've been told to expect new language tomorrow, and hopefully that refines it and closes up the shop. But it's out of our hands, so to speak. And so that's reasons why we just can't sign it, and you can't give us authority to just sign it whenever it's finished. And additionally, the timing of when it will be done. As it relates to I guess any other requirements that are there, these are the same requirements that were put forth in the phase 1 MOU. Very little has changed outside of the number of parties involved and the complications around the P3 fund. But that's, in a nutshell, is the MOU and the open items related to the MOU. And we can open it up for any questions and that you may have related to the MOU and the process.
Thank you so much. I see two hands, Board Member Adam Stafford first, and then followed by Board Member Zipporah Miller.
Thank you so much. And thank you for providing us with an update. I have a few questions and a comment. I wanted to know when exactly did they change the payment schedule, and what is the guarantee that they're going to send the second payment? And does this change the delivery schedule for on the construction side? It's very interesting. This is very interesting to me because one of the stipulations that was added to this phase of the P3 was that we put our money into this state-run account. And honestly, what it sounds like to me is that basically like how a bank uses like a deposit from an individual person to pay out different debts or whatever they need to do. That seems to be kind of what the case is here, that our money is being broken up and used in different ways, and then we're getting a modified payment schedule. That really was not what our understanding was at the beginning of this year, when it was said that we would have to put it into this fund. And that actually was some of the question, what is the benefit to us to put our money into this state-run fund? And now basically they're using it to do other things and then paying us in an altered schedule. That's what it sounds like.
That is so a couple of things. One, the Mr. Matlock and I had the same point of paying up to pay back down. So let me be clear, like this is a very complicated structure, but this was a structure that the state required as a way of ensuring the local match was made. As it relates to the payment notification, uh, it had to be April, late April. Sean, I'm looking. It had to be around late April when we were notified.
Yeah, it was very late.
Yeah. So that was, and it was it was brought up, and they've been upfront about that they that they need to get us an answer. It does not impact the construction schedule because of the fact that we don't pay for construction. This is financing, and so this is really around when we are in ability to make milestone payments, which are further down the line as it relates to the timeline of required payments or being able to pay down debt. This is a function of when the state receives VLT funds. So it's actually no use of the funds happening. It's the disbursement that they receive from the comptroller's office. So it's really standardizing. What we've been told is that they receive it, but it's been sporadic because as long as they get it by the end of the fiscal year, that's all that matters. We are requiring and we need specific timing, which is what they have to now figure out. But there is no the impact to the county for the two payments is a little less interest income that is able to be accumulated by the accumulation of funds in the escrow account. But it doesn't it doesn't impact any of the I guess frontline construction activities necessary to complete the schools.
Okay,
No.
thank
And
you.
that's important that the
Yeah,
escrow, the money does go back into our escrow account. So once we pay it up, it's there for about a month and then it flows straight back to us in our escrow account the following month.
But just so I'm understanding, it will be less money flowing back to us because there will be two separate smaller payments, right?
No, it's the MSA's commitment. So MSA will be making one payment and then we'll be making our full payment. Then all that money comes directly to us. And then MSA will make a second payment, but that will then flow to us. So no, it's two payments to us, but they're just breaking up their funds. That's all, not our funds.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Zipporah Miller.
Thank you. My question was asked by Board Member Adam Stafford, so it's just be a clarifying question. Because I was going to ask about the timeline and delivery schedule on construction. So am I understanding that construction will start on time regardless of this MOU being signed? Is that what I'm hearing?
So the issue is not the MOU. So the issue is the full closing of this transaction. The MOU is one piece of it. So as set forth in the statute, there are two required approvals that we need to move forward. One is the MOU, which is the funding document that you have before you that the IAC, MSA, all four parties have to approve. And so that's the funding document, so to speak. The next document is the project agreement, which is the fundamental document of the deal. That is the document that requires the IAC approval as well. And so they had tried to domino this up, basically deal with the MOU in June and then the PA in July. Now we're waiting to get clarification on how they want to proceed. Because they are still reviewing the documents that we sent them on May 13th. I think it's referenced of the date that we sent closing documents. They're still reviewing that. And so they're not in position yet to make a recommendation of approval for the project agreement. They were trying to bifurcate out the MOU, etc. Once they get to an approval of the project agreement, that is then will be scheduled. And right now we're targeting July 11th. for that project agreement date, at which point they would make their recommendation. We would commercially close a week after the 11th, so probably July 18th. And then the developer needs, and this is why the MOU is important, the developer needs 30 days because it's a taxable bond financing to have it out for potential participation. Once that is done, we are looking at a close date of roughly August 15th through August 20th. Their schedule to start with abatement work at Templeton is August 25th. So we are right now, and yes, there may be some float in there, yes, but we don't want to tempt fate. Our goal is right now we would hit every domino that's there, but also remember the time constraint that we have is because we have a group A, group B, group C schools. So 2026 group A schools are the ones that are on the clock immediately. They will be, the group B and C schools will be impacted based upon capacity, not based upon when we close the deal. And so that's what we just want to make sure that there are no dominoes if this was to delay into the fall of impacting downstream schools. But right now we feel comfortable that there will be minimal impact to that summer 2026 delivery date, as long as we hew close to the timeline that we have right now.
Okay, thank you. I had 4 questions. You have answered 3 of them, 2 of them. I read the MOU and saw on page 9 that there was I guess an extension to July 11th, 2024. So my question, the third question is, there is no need for us to sign anything before June 13th. There is no real requirement, correct?
No, not anymore, because we were moving on their schedule, and so we're waiting on right now. What we would say is we'll see what we get back, but we haven't heard back from MSA. So I feel comfortable saying when we get it, we will make sure that you all are made aware. But there should be no special meeting needed. Hopefully it's all done by Wednesday. We can post it and we can have it to normal on the normal agenda next Thursday. But right now, our focus is on getting it final, and then we can figure out the next steps. But yes, I do not see the need for us to meet prior to the 13th now, because I think we have justifiable reasons why we couldn't approve it before the 13th. We're still waiting on the draft from them.
Right. And then finally, my 4th question was, is there anything the Board of Ed or PGCBS can do to move it forward? But you've explained that as well. So for me, I thank you guys for the information that you brought to us. And I also thank you for providing this MOU, which I read. So everything that you said tonight is in this document. I'll go to Vice Chair Lolita Walker, and Board Member Adam Stafford. Is your hand still up for a second round?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair.
Thank you so much. And thanks to the board members who are asking amazing questions. Like everyone else, a lot of mine were already checked off. But Mr. Washington, I just wanted to make sure my understanding was clear, is that this date that we were moving forward with the 13th date is no longer in our purview, because there are some things that we're waiting on, and it's not the PGCPS that is the stale block or the stumbling block at this particular time. I also understand, yep, and I also understand from you, and correct me wherever I go off, is that we will have very minimal to no impact, as you know of right now, for our school build commitments as a result of the timeline that we see. Was that correct?
Yes, right now
Okay.
that's the timeline that we have. And to go back, we want to be able, so the move we were pushing for was, we were working under the assumption we had to have it approved before they met. You all meet on the 13th. So if it's finished, we
Then
can
we'll
go
do it
and approve it then. But I feel strongly that we can come back and say there were limitations to why we couldn't meet before we agree in substance, etc.
Okay. if it continuing forward, also that because I had the same concern about us receiving the money in portions versus what we originally were aligned to. And so what I understand from you all is that is not a concern because we'll still get the same amount and there's no negative impacts on us at present, even with the smaller payments. Do I understand that correctly?
Correct. The way that it's set up, we will always have a buffer of funds in the escrow account to satisfy our obligations going forward.
Okay.
Based
And
upon
then,
the modeling that we have right now. Yes, ma'am.
okay. And then I understand that you all feel very confident that we will receive the money as promised, because I also had the same concern that board member Adam Stafford had as well. So yes to that as well.
Yeah, yes. I mean,
Okay, great.
that's what the MOU gives us, is that's
Okay.
why we want it in there on the dates and the amounts. And you will see the back part of this is if there are disputes or if there are breaches of said contract, we have legal remedy, and that's where General Counsel Henderson, and his team, that's why they needed final before they can sign off, is to make sure that we do have remedies to go back should there be a breach on the other side for this company.
You've answered my last question, which is, which I know our Mr. Henderson's all over, but do we have a lock plan to make sure that there's ramifications in the event everything doesn't come through as possible? So thank you guys so much. It's really helpful to have this meeting.
Thank you, board member Adam Stafford.
I think that's what I wanted to just double check, that, what is our recourse if the state doesn't pay the second payment on time? And so will we have a separate agreement with the state that will be signed?
No, this is a contract. The MOU would be a binding contract, and this would be we would enforce it as we would with any other contract. I don't know how it works from political subdivision up the chain and all of that, but this is what the MOU represents. It is a legal binding contract, because you can see in here, there's a lot of language that's binding us to stuff. So
That's what I'm saying. And I'd love to hear if Mr. Henderson could share just a little bit, what is your plan to ensure that, if we are in sort of a duly committed situation, we're waiting on funding from the state to give back to us, and then we have to give this money to the developer so they can continue to do their work. So just kind of what is going to be your approach to ensure that we don't get in a situation where we're on the hook for money coming in late? Because I mean, just generally, receiving funding from government agencies, anything can delay something. So I just want to know what we're going to have in there.
So, and thank you for the question, board member. Mr. Washington is correct, is that this is a binding agreement. So if there is any default or any failure to perform on any one part of the 4-part agreement, then we would take any necessary legal action to enforce our rights under the agreement.
You're okay, board member Adam Stafford?
Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I see no other hands, no other discussion. So to the administration, I appreciate that we've stayed within our 45 minutes. So I will move on. I would thank you for a great presentation, and it was detailed and it was extremely comprehensive. So thank you guys so much. Follow-up items from this meeting will be posted on board docs upon receipt. The board would like to inform the public of the upcoming board meetings. Board Audit Committee, June 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Parent Community Advisory Council, June 5th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Operations, Budget, and Fiscal Affairs Committee meeting, June 12th, 2024 at 5 p.m. And our board meeting will be June 13th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Please continue to check the board webpage for updates and more information about the upcoming board meetings. There being no further business, the time is now 7:35, and this the June 3rd, 2024 meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Washington and team. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Chairman Kismari,
Have a good night, everyone.
I think Jonathan hands was up.
Oh, Jonathan, well, I adjourned, but we can entertain your question.
I just
Jonathan.
wanted to mention that the Policy and Governance Committee is having a rescheduled meeting on June 11th at 5 p.m. So just wanted to make the public aware of that.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, with that being said, no further business. Good night, everybody. Enjoy your evening.